Hi everybody, Happy New Year. It's Jackie Olive here, the creator of olivetreeprep.com, and I am back today with another Tuesday's tip. Today we're going to be talking about math, and I'm going to answer the questions, what is a 10 frame and why should I use it with my preschooler? So 10 frames are super basic and easy, but they're a really powerful tool for developing number sense and really establishing a strong foundation in our base 10 number system. So this is what a 10 frame looks like. It is a big rectangle divided into 10 squares. There are always 5 on top and 5 on the bottom. So seems pretty basic. What you would do, or the way that your child would use a 10 frame, is by showing a number. So for example, you might say, okay, show me 7 magnets on the 10 frame. So then your child would count out 7 magnets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so pretty basic, pretty simple. You can see it here. It's important to teach your child to fill the top row first, starting in the left and moving to the right, and then coming down to the bottom. And that's to help keep these numbers organized so that they can deconstruct them. So one of the ways that we're going to encourage our child to dig a little bit deeper with the 10 frames is by kind of modeling some of the thinking that we'd like them to have ourselves. So we might say, oh, look, I noticed something. I noticed that to make the number 7 on the 10 frame, there are 5 on top and 2 on the bottom. 5 and 2 make 7. That reminds me of when I'm counting the number 7 on my fingers. I count 5 on one hand and 2 on the other. Now, I always like to link it, especially in the beginning when I'm introducing a 10 frame, I like to link it to our fingers, because when we're learning something new, if we link that learning to something that we already know and are familiar with, it tends to stay more in the brain that way. We make more connections that way. So kind of linking it to something that they're already familiar with is always a great learning tip. And then we might ask some questions too. So we notice things ourselves, we kind of model the types of thinking that we want them to do as they're building and constructing and deconstructing these numbers. But then we can also ask some questions. A good question with a 10 frame might be something like, oh, how many empty squares are there? And so we could count the empty squares, 1, 2, 3. And then you might say, oh my goodness, so 7 plus 3 more would make 10. We would need 3 more to fill that 10 frame. So now you can see how we're sort of starting to develop this idea of making 10 in our base 10 system. Later, as you go, you might build numbers like 11 on a 10 frame. So you could see if I did, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is 10 and 1 more. So we're starting to come up with that idea, or we're starting to understand the idea of 10s and 1s. Another thing that you'll notice them start doing is, as there's more repetition involved with using a 10 frame, if you say, okay, show me 8 on the 10 frame, they're not even going to have to count, right? They're just going to quickly fill in that top row and then add the 3 more. So before you know it, they've kind of already memorized that 5 and 3 makes 8, and they can just make that so quickly. So you can see that with repetition, this really starts to become ingrained, and they start to really understand these numbers in a more meaningful way. But how do we keep this fun and not just like a cookie sheet with dot magnets? Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my 4-year-olds, they might do this once or twice, but then they're going to be over it. So we can use a 10 frame in so many different ways because of the simplicity of it. So you can tape off with like masking tape or painter's tape, tape off a huge 10 frame on the floor in your home or on the carpet, and they can start putting their toys on there. We can use dice to make building on a 10 frame a game. So you can roll 1 die and they can practice building each of these numbers, or even more powerful, we can use 2 dice. So if I rolled 2 dice and let's say I got, a 5 and a 1, so I'm going to make the 5 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to add 1 more. How many is that? Oh, 5 and 1 make 6. We could do 5 and 1 and 4 make 10, or 6 and 4 make 10. We can really start kind of understanding these numbers in a more powerful way. Another easy tip is just take a deck of cards and pull out all those face cards, and then you can just flip over one card at a time. You can even start doing some subtraction. Like for example, if you're like, okay, well we have 6 on our 10 frame, and now we flipped over a 5. What's the easiest way that we can make a 5? Well, we'll just take that one away because 6 is one more than 5. So if we take the 1, now we have the 5 on top. So it just kind of provides that organization and that framework so that we can consistently be constructing and deconstructing these numbers. And with all of that repetition, we're building that foundation. So this is really, really important. Oh, another fun thing that we like to do on a nice day when we're playing outside, I just grab a piece of sidewalk chalk and draw a huge 10 frame. And then the kids love to just like go out collecting, you know, leaves and rocks and sticks and snails or whatever, and we just put them all in the 10 frame, and we talk about how many we have or how many more we need, and if we have, you know, more snails than rocks, and you know, you can just be comparing numbers, constructing numbers, deconstructing numbers, all with that 10 frame. And that organization really helps just kind of make those ideas more concrete in your child's mind and develop that number sense and that foundation in our base 10 number system. If you're enjoying some of my Tuesdays tips and you're interested in including more of these practices in your homeschool with your preschooler, I encourage you to check out olivetreeprep.com. Our curriculum there has all of these things built in, so you don't have to think about or worrying about planning or getting it all in. You can just sort of rest easy knowing that it's all there and it's all done for you, and your child's going to be getting exactly what they need to be starting out their education with success. I will see you guys all next Tuesday with another Tuesday's tip. I hope everyone's having a happy new year and a wonderful week. I will see you soon.